Also, if you look down here, LEC for lecture, 35. 35 means that the class is offered through Henderson. Okay, so like 25 is Elizabethtown, B whatever, B0 something is Bluegrass, and so forth. So 35 means it's a Henderson class, and then the BJ means bi-term. Okay, so BJ is a bi-term, starts 1 week late. BZ is a bi-term that starts at least 12 weeks, like I think.
Yeah, I gave that with them. Maybe you
Okay.
were on that.
Excellent, excellent.
I even gave them a handy dandy little handout with it.
Below that is the PeopleSoft number. PeopleSoft numbers are 5 digits in spring and fall. They are 4 digits in summer, just an FYI. And then how many seats are taken over how many seats are available. Okay. Down here below we have the course attribution. So this is a written communication. I'm not going to do this today, but in the advance, if you have a student who says, I need a cultural study, we can actually search by attribute. We can do a search by attribute in Visual Schedule Builder. So you're like, oh, you need a cultural study. Do a search, find a cultural study class that they like, and then pull it in that way. Okay? That's a newer feature. And then just a course description and then some notes. So at the bottom you might see this is a 15-week course, or this section has to be taken concurrently with Reading 100 or whatever the case is. All right? So once we decide we kind of like the schedule, we can share it with students a few ways. One, we can create a favorite. I'm going to show you that now. 2, we can create a link, and if I create a link, I can send it to anybody, and they can click on that link, and it will take them right to this page. Okay? I can print it, which is what people used to do a long time ago, I guess. And what I'm going to show you, though, is the favorite. What I'm going to show you is the favorite. So I like the schedule. It's really great. I'm going to click on favorite, and then my third window, my third pane appears. Okay? And notice there's a little tiny thumbnail of the schedule up at the top. So what I can do if I want is I can click on that, and here's just a little tiny preview. And then we'll just say that this is little Timmy's option 1. Okay? I hit enter, and then it's saved. Now, I'm going to come back, and let's say that Timmy's like, you know what, I just don't like this one FYE course. Can we change that? Can we maybe put that back on there? Okay, sure. I'm going to add that to favorite. It'll throw up a little thumbnail over here. I can click on it, and we'll say this little Timmy's option 2. Hit enter, and it saves it. Now, I can toggle back and forth. And then if I hit load, it'll throw back that little thumbnail to the big schedule. If you're logged in, these are saved as long as the term is active. Now, how is this advantageous to you? Say you're in a program, say you're in a technical program, and there's not really a lot of different options that your students can take, maybe 4 or 5. So you can create 4 or 5, and when students come in, you've got these saved. You log into Visual Schedule Builder, you load them up, and you're like, here's your options. Okay? So, or you're a program, an example might be Adam Blair. He may have many different options, but there's 4 or 5 really common options that most students have. You can send them a link, and then they can open that up. Or when they come in, pull them up. Okay, so here are the common options. Okay? Or you just have a couple of options that you want to have around to show students who come in and go, I don't know what I want to take. And you've already got them kind of preloaded for you.
I forget about that. We could be using that a lot in the medical system. I forget about that part.
All right? So, again, there's a lot more to it. This is the basic. This is actually the Cliff's Notes basic. But I only have 20 minutes, and I still have to show you the interactive degree plans, which is usually an hour for me. So, any quick questions about Visual Schedule Builder?
There is in your manual a section on Visual Schedule Builder that goes through all the instructions. So if you want to read through that, or you can go home and play on this at home, play around with it. So try to get in and explore things, just play around with it, because that's how you're going to know what it'll do.
And again, we have barely scratched the surface. There's a lot more than Visual Schedule Builder can do, but I don't know how to talk. So the next thing I want to talk about are interactive degree plans. Okay, we can get to those by going to our website and clicking on Education and Training. I'm I'm going to go ahead and just show you AA, maybe AS a little bit as well. But all of our degrees are on here. So, education and training, and then program finder.
And you're gonna wanna use these particularly because of program applicability. If it's not on that interactive degree plan, if they take a course that's not on that plan, then there's a possibility that they're gonna have to pay for it themselves.
In case the website is ever down, again, like the advising forms, these are all on the SharePoint site as well.
Okay.
I'll send that link out as well.
Okay. And eventually, by the way, it may be a year or two, all of these will be on SharePoint. They won't be available on the website. Okay, that's coming. There's nothing we can do about that either. That's coming. Now, I was going to say if you're a program coordinator, but I think pretty much almost, maybe one exception, y'all are all program coordinators. So here's my message to you especially. If you have a change in your curriculum, if you have something very specific about this campus, about your MLT, MA, psychology, biology, whatever class, and you want that to be reflected in the degree plans, you have to let me know. Especially if it's something like CRC or council that's a system level thing, you definitely have to let me know. Hey, starting next semester, la-di-da-di-da. As a matter of fact, I owe you a spreadsheet that I think I was supposed to have you last week. So, anyhow.
We just found out that third certificate got approved.
So, you have to let me know that there's a change to your program because I cannot keep up with council changes. And anyway, so I usually do updates over the summer because that's when things go into effect, typically is in the fall. So I'm going to go to Associate in Arts first. And then this is, again, if you're a program coordinator, this is my message to you. You have to make sure that your current curriculum says current curriculum by it. Okay? We don't delete old curricula as long as we have currently enrolled students still in the program. Okay? So our current curriculum is the 2019. We actually just had a big change. And actually the previous curriculum actually lives inside the same form. Okay? So this is the current curriculum for all AA students. So if I click on the little XLS link, it'll go ahead and download it for me. I'm going to open it up. It may ask me to enable all features. It didn't, but if it did, just click on Enable All Features. And here is our AA degree plan. So a little bit of language. A lot of times we call this section right here the Gen Ed section, Box 1. We'll call the additional Box 2, and then the electives Box 3. That's just a local thing because of the way that we have it laid out. But if you go to another college, their degree plans don't necessarily look the same. And some colleges call them maps, so just so you know.
Earlier we were talking about electives that or transfer credit that came in as a P as a grade. Those P's can't go in that core general ed category. That's what we meant by it can't be counted as a gen ed.
And if you try to put it in there,
It won't go.
oh well, okay, good.
Yeah, so I don't want to get too technical. There's two types of transfer that we accept. Direct transfer equivalence. Direct transfer equivalence is they took this class into the college and it came in as our Math 150. It came in as our English 101, our Psych 110, our BAS 160, whatever. Then there's indirect transfer. We're giving them credit for it, but it's going to be what's called a TRN. Okay, a TRN. And if the TRN counts as Gen Ed, it's in the boxes. If the TRN does not count as Gen Ed, it's not in the boxes. Okay? That's
the drop in.
Yep, and I'll show you that here in a second. So, up at the very top, we have our academic success requirements. Notice that throughout the spreadsheet, you see these little red earmarks. If you put your mouse over the little red comment, is what they're called, then a little yellow box pops up and says, if taken, this course should also be listed under electives. Okay? So when you put your mouse over there, you might see different comments that are relevant to that little area. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say the semester taken, I don't know why, but I always say, okay, so 4196, that's what I type. Okay? And not many people do that. So if you want to type in spring of 20, that's fine too. You know, that's fine too. Spring 20, spring 2020, whatever. It doesn't matter. So 41, let's say they take it this semester, 4194. Now, English 101, this is one thing you do have to look up or know. English 101 is 3 credit hours. So I'm going to type in 3, I'm going to hit enter. Now immediately notice that this box right here has changed to 3. Okay? Also notice, and here I'll do it again, notice that there's a little tiny counter right here that says negative 33. That means that they have 33 hours remaining in their Gen Ed. When I type in 3, that changes to negative 30. Okay? So they take English 102 in the spring, and type in 3 hours, again, 6 and negative 27 in the respective places. Then it says oral communication, 3 hours. Okay? Well, there are a few classes that count as oral communication. Not all comm classes satisfy the oral communication. Okay? For example, COM 254, Intercultural Communication, is a cultural class, but it does not count as a comm class. So how do you know if it counts or not? Well, there are these, they're called validation boxes, but there's this little arrow to the right, and when you click on that arrow, this drop-down box appears, and then you can select any class in there. Okay? And I don't know how well you can see it, and I can blow this up if I need to, but notice that some of those indirect transfer are in there, but not all. If you go look at the big listing of all the TRNs, not all the TRNs are in that box. Only the ones that are in the box count as Gen Ed. So if you have a TRN 104 Comm Technical Elective, it's got to go in transfer. Does that make sense? Okay. And I haven't showed you how to where those are. Those are the transfer pain and PeopleSoft. But all right, so let's say that they take COM 181, and then I'm going to stop filling in the semesters, and we'll pretend like we do. Heritage and Humanities, on the AA, you have to have 3 hours of Humanities, 3 hours of Heritage. The first box are your Humanities, the second box are your Heritage. And this is to keep you from accidentally giving them 2 Heritage classes, and then they get to the end and they can't graduate because they haven't taken a Humanities class. Okay?
Now, I use these on all my advisees. I actually put them, save them with their name on it and put it in a degree plan folder on my computer, in my documents. And then I give them a copy of this when they leave so they'll know what they still have.
Now, I selected Art 100, Intro to Art for my Humanities. I selected History 101, World Civilization for my Heritage. Now, you might know that in order to graduate, you have to satisfy a cultural requirement. The moment I've selected History 101, automatically this box down here populated to World Civilization.
So that counts as your culture.
Okay? Notice also that you cannot enter anything into that box because you've already got it entered right here. So you can't accidentally double count that 3 hours. You can't double dip on your culture requirement. Okay? So, social and behavioral, there is no, I could make a mechanism, but I'm lazy, I haven't done this, and I may never do it. So that's something you have to know. On the AA, you have to have 9 hours of social and behavioral. They have to be from 2 different disciplines. So you cannot take 3 political science classes and call it done. You have to have at least 2 different disciplines. So a sociology and 2 psychology, a political science, 2 economic, whatever. So I'm just going to pick a couple of options here. So we took this agriculture class, we took an anthropology class, and we took a folk studies class. All right, so 3, 3, and 3. All these classes so far have been 3 hours. Let's get down to natural science. And let's say that we just really, really, really love bio anatomy is what I'm trying to say, and which is bio 137. How many hours is bio 137? 4. It's a 4-hour science class. It includes the lab. So now we're off. These were all nice multiples of 3. Now we're off. Okay? Quantitative reasoning, let's say that we take Calculus 1, the 175, which is, well, actually I'm going to do the Math 174 for a reason here. Math 174, which is a 4-hour class. Again, if you didn't know this, you'd have to look it up. Okay, notice we only have one more hour of gen ed, but we still need a second math or science class. So let's say that our second science class we take, we just really love that Bio 137, we want to take Bio 139, and I distracted myself. There, instead of a note, I don't know why, but instead of a note, I put in a little pop-up box. Just to let you know that the science is first and the math are second. So science classes are listed first and math classes follow. That's how I organize those drop downs. And by the way, if you hate the organization of this, let me know and we can look into changing it. Okay? These are our forms. These are advising tools. So Bio 139 are 4 hours. So we have an extra 3 hours. Where do they go? Well, notice that on the AA, as soon as we enter in that 4 hours, we've met our 33. We have 3 hours from somewhere. They need to go somewhere. Well, they can't go on the AA because they're from science and math. They can't go up at the top in box 2 because only arts and humanities can go up in box 2. So they have to go to elective. So the spreadsheet automatically shoots those 3 hours over to the elective. And then this little red message comes up, 3 over from quantitative reasoning and science. So you haven't lost those 3 hours. You don't have to remember to enter them over here. Just enter in the courses. And some people try to do this thing, they'll put 3 here and go over there and type 1. And I'm like, don't break them up. Don't break them up. That's going to confuse you later. It's going to confuse anybody who looks at it. Put in how many hours that are supposed to be there. The spreadsheet will take care of that for you. Okay?
Well, let me ask you something. Now, does that also happen on the AAS?
It does if we
Because
ever had
Okay.
arts and humanities are more than 3 hours. I've built in a mechanism, but it will never do anything because there are no humanities classes that are more than 3 hours.
Well, I'm just saying because some of mine I had put, for example, in some of the AASs, they only need so many sciences, but so I put the others up at the top box in the science part for the AS.
Right. And I can show, if we have time, I will show you that, but I actually have a special box for science on the AS, okay? So anyway, on the AA, your extra math and science, shoot over here. On the AS, the same mechanism happens, but that will never show up anytime soon unless somebody creates a 4-hour history class or something, in which case, that's all right, we'll be able to do it. And maybe there's some indirect transfer that comes in that's worth 4 hours, and if that's the case, that'd be fine. You know, we would do that, you put in there and shoot over there. So that might be the exception, is if you have an indirect transfer humanities, it's a 5-hour class, you might have some extra which shoot up there for you. So anyway, shoots that over there for you. All right, so let's take a look up here. We've got our 6 hours of arts and humanities, social, behavioral, and comm. And comm is actually not correct. It's just one of those minor edits I haven't made yet. But I need to take out oral communication because it's not. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to remember that because there's no comm in the boxes. It's just an outdated thing that I never updated. So let's say that they take, well, it actually does have comm listed. I might have to check on that. That might be an issue. I don't really know. Or maybe it's fine. But, so it's listed, so I may want to double check myself and make sure that I'm not lying to you. So 3 hours, 3 hours, and then our electives. The first box in the electives is our digital literacy graduation requirement. So for the most part, that's going to be CIT 105. So I hit CIT 105, 3 hours, and then the next box is our other graduation requirement, which is FYE. There are 3 options: FYE 105, FYE 100, and exempt from FYE if they meet one of those exemptions that we talked about. Okay? So let's say that they take FYE 105, 3 hours, and then the electives. These are totally open. You can type here. This is the only area on the spreadsheet where you can type in names of courses. So for laziness sake, let's say that they transferred in 20 hours from another institution, indirect. I'm just going to type in transfer credit, 20 hours, and boom. Once I typed in 20, notice that this box changed to green. Okay? When this box is green, that means that they have satisfied the 60-hour graduation requirement. Okay? All right? So, real quickly, I will pull up the AS degree. Very similar for the most part. A couple of minor differences. again, I'm going to click on the current curriculum. Okay, so the changes they're small, but they're still some basic things. So we still have to have a cultural studies. The difference is that we have to have 6 hours of natural science and 6 hours of quantitative reasoning. Okay, we have to have 6 hours instead of 9 hours of social behavioral, which means if you're getting an AS, you have to take 2 different social behavioral to satisfy. Okay, so you could take 2 psych and 1 social. You find on the AA, on the AS, you're going to have to take a psych and a social, or social and political science or whatever. Okay, and then
See, this is where I was asked, I'm sorry.
and that's why I opened this up. All right, so let's just say that they've got natural science. I'm going to be lazy. They've got bio down here. They got bio 137, and then they've got bio 139. Okay, so 4 and 4. Okay, and then up here, let's say that they've got let's say that they have 6 hours of quantitative reasoning, so 3 and 3. Okay, now they've got a bit of a carryover. They've got 2 hours carryover. It's going to shoot the 2 hours carryover up there. So now they only need 4 hours. Well, let's say what they do. Let's say what they do is they take bio 112, okay, and bio 113. Well, the bio 112 is 3 hours. Okay, the bio 113, if you notice, is not in the drop. Well, it is in the drop down. What might happen? What might happen is they need a really strange. They need a really strange number of science classes. So let's say that they take a 2-hour trio. Okay, that's a better example. So they take, they take a astronomy class. That's going to be 3 hours. Okay, actually they've met it now. But let's say that in a situation they need bio 113. They just need a 1-hour class. The bottom 2 boxes are just science labs. They're just science labs. So if I click, and there should be a comment there, science labs if needed. There are just the science labs, and those are for the most part going to be just 1 hour. Okay. All right. And again, if we have any excess from box 2, it'll push it down here. So just so you know, the way that the credit hours flow, if you have excess here, okay, if it can, it pushes it to box 2. If it cannot push it to box 2, it'll push it to box 3. So if it pushes it from box 1 to box 2 and you have excess, box 2 will also be pushed down to box 3. Does that make sense? Okay. The Cliff's Notes version is just type in the hours in the credit, and then you should never really have to type anything here that's also somewhere else. Does that make sense? Okay. So this will shoot either up there if it's applicable to box 2, if not to box 3, and then if you have extra for box 2 will also push it down to box 3. So for example, what am I saying? Say they have 30 hours of, let's put it in humanity. Say they have an excess of hours in both box 1 and 2. We get a carryover from box 1 and a carryover from box 2. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah. That's new, isn't it?
As of this year, as of this semester, because of the changes in the AA and the AS.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I don't remember that from last time.
No, and it didn't matter because everything gen ed just went to box 2. But now, because the gen eds are specific, we have to be careful how those flow.
Questions for Scott? These tools are wonderful, and if you'll get used to using them, it will save you so much time. Now, like I said, there are some advisors that don't really like to do this, and that's fine. We're not saying you have to, but if you get used to it, it really will save you some time. This is what I like to have done before they come in for my meeting. I usually go ahead and save it, like I said, put it in a folder on my documents, and then when they come in, I just pull that up. I know exactly where they need classes, and do with the drop downs and stuff, I can tell them what options they have. And then we can go into Visual Schedule Builder and set it.
Now, Visual Schedule Builder is a system thing. If you have some feedback about Visual Schedule Builder, Kim Hayden is typically the person. feel free to filter those through your division chair, John, me, whoever, if you don't want to remember that name or whatnot, and we will get it to the right person. But the interactive degree plans are ours. We created those, we developed those, we update
Scott did.
those. So if you have any questions or comments or gripes or mistakes, like the com thing, I want to check on that and make sure that I don't need to fix that like immediately. All right? But if there are issues, let me know, and it's Scott. If there's a mistake in there, let me know it's my mistake, okay? And then we'll get that fixed.
Well, thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
For
Let's
helping
start
us
first.
out.
It's not a Kit
And
Kat.
these are things that, if you just get in there and play with them, you'll learn. Appreciate it.
Yeah, oh.
All
Now
right.
that I have a question for you,
Okay.
now that I hit the spots that I wanted to read, like,
You can read.
okay, because that was the area that I wanted to go over.
Okay.
Because the rest part I've already gone through.
Let's, and I'm also gonna go to the website, the advising website page, where is it? Well,
What are we looking for again?
I just want you, I want to show you some things that are in there, just so you'll be aware of them. Okay, so if you ever need to find this anywhere else, it is, like I said, on the website. Just go to faculty and staff and scroll down, and we have a thing here for advising.
Okay.
So, just to, like I said, little things in here, if you want to locate a list of your advisees, I'm just gonna show you this, it's kind of easy to do. This tells you exactly how to do it. You basically are going to log in, you're gonna see Faculty Center, you click on that tab, that's one way you can do it.
I had the hardest time finding degree plans
Oh, I
at
see.
first.
Degree plans are under programs.
But you
They
have to go to
programs.
PeopleSoft to do this, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay, you can't just.
But, so this is just telling you how to do it.
Oh, okay,
So this is also in your, these are just a guide.
okay, got
But,
it.
the other thing I did want to let you know about is as part of our, old QEP, which was advising,
No.
our former one, we developed first semester advising syllabus and second semester, or second tier, advising, First semester, they don't really use this anymore, because, Start Center now does it. Used to, we did all of it, but this is something that you can look at, if you want to do, pull out one. We, as advisors, are probably going to use the second tier. The second tier is right here, that is also in your manual. And this is a good one to use if you want to kind of keep up with things. You've got your student's name, you've got, you can put your address and contact information here. You can give them a copy of this. One of the things I like about it, it gives you our philosophy on advising, our advising statement. It gives you resources and who you can call should you need something. So maybe you don't know, who's in charge of our veteran services. Well, that's Andy Zellers. So you can give this to your advisee, so they have this contact information, or you can also have it too. The other thing, it gives you student learning outcomes, what we expect of a student in the advising process, and what our responsibilities are in the, advising process. I expect for my students eventually to come in and have a list of classes they know they need to take, instead of me having to tell them what they need to take. So we're gonna try to guide them to advise, knowing what they need. Then it takes a while sometimes, okay? And then the other thing that's really neat about this is if your student, your advisee has anywhere from 0 to 15 credit hours, it actually tells you things that they need to be doing, okay? When the financial aid deadlines are, when the scholarship deadlines are, if I've taken out loans, when I need to do that, and if you're in a specific program, maybe in the second semester, they have to get drug tested, or they have to, have a criminal background check. You can write those in. Then you can go on up to 16 to 30 credit hours. Now you might wanna be looking for a transfer. You can find transfer information here. These links are active. And again, and you keep on going till you get 3145. Now we have new things in here, okay? When they get to 46 to 76, now we're looking at their cover letter, their final resume. We're looking at, did they apply for their, application for graduation. So it gives you things as an advisor that you might want to bring up to or point out to your students when they're in that certain range.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just, I just keep a copy of it. You have a copy of it in your manual. There is a copy of it in your manual. So should you decide that, you've got a student who's coming in, they've got 30 credit hours.
Yeah.
Look at that box for the 30 credit hours and you'll kind of,
Okay.
learn some things that maybe you might
Yeah.
be wanting to talk to them
So
about.
you didn't say that you print this off and give it to them?
You can, that's strictly up to you.
I have a feeling, so, because obviously in courses we also give out the syllabus.
Yeah.
And then they say, when's our next exam?
Yeah.
Like, they don't read it, but this is good information, so.
It's really, I like it better for me.
Yeah,
because honestly, it gives me an idea what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes the students are fine with it, and some
Yeah.
advisors use it, some don't. So
Okay.
it's not mandatory.
Okay,
It's
that's-
just however,
No,
if
that's
it
good.
helps you.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, honestly, it helps me more than it does
I
them.
would think so, yeah, so.
It's kind of like a guide for me. All right, so the other thing, let's go back here to our advising. So you got your first semester advising syllabus, your second tier. The second tier is part of what you're gonna focus on. The full placement tables are here, your manual's here. There are forms if you need them. The FYE exemptions, remember Scott talked about some students are exempt, that's on here, so if you're not sure, of course you can't remember what Scott said, 20 minutes ago, then we've got it on here for you.
Right.
So you can look it up. The other thing that we need to talk about is, again, these are just talking about the advising syllabus, the students' responsibilities and your responsibilities. So this is in your manual. Now, the other thing I need to talk to you about is part of our advising requirement is we have developed a Blackboard training for you. Okay? So you will go to Blackboard, and I've already added you to this course. You're gonna go to Blackboard, and you need to have this, it's best if you have it done by the end of next semester,
Oh,
okay? So you got all the semester long.
this is under courses?
All right, I'm gonna show you.
Oh.
You got all semester long to get this done.
Oh.
Now, it's really good, now, we can't tell you that you have to have it done by next semester, but it would be helpful if you did. If you're getting ready to go into the promotion cycle, which eventually you all will be, then you want to have this done because it looks good on your promotion notebook to have this done. Okay. The other thing is if you decide that you want to teach an FYE course, maybe get some overload, extra money, extra pay, you have to do these courses, these modules. So go into Blackboard and you go to organizations, right over here on the side, organizations. And then you're going to click on GPS Advisor Training. Right here, GPS Advisor Training. Okay?
Yeah.
When you click on GPS Advisor Training, it's going to take you to our learning modules. Okay, there is advisor training modules right here. You have the expert level modules. There's an advising 101, 102, 103, 104, I think there's 6 of them. So those are the 6 that are required, okay? Then we have the master level modules, there's only 4 of those. Those are the ones you have to do if you are going or wanting to teach FYE.
Oh,
Okay, you have to do the expert. The master is not required, but if you want to teach FYE, you have to complete that. Okay. Now, at the end, when you get these done, you need to let me know, and I'll print you out a certificate of completion, okay? And at the end of each one, there's a little post-test. And you've got to get a certain, thing. It doesn't take very long to do these. I think I did the master ones like in 4 hours. you know, just I was sitting there, I didn't have anything else to do, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this time. So just go in and do them whenever you can, but let me know when you finish them, because I have to go in and grade some of these things, because the quiz, the post tests are automatically graded, but you had to upload a couple things that I had to actually grade. And then when you finish these, I will give you a certificate. Has anybody seen me give out the certificates at the faculty meetings?
Oh.
Yeah, so I usually give them out at the faculty meetings, so, this is something like I said, really is gonna be helpful to you, particularly when you're going up for promotion. And there's a lot of good information in there, really. It's stuff that, you know, it goes over stuff that, you know, as far as legal and ethical things, you know, digital resources, internal resources, making a student, it's just a lot of different things that you can do to try to, you know, so it's really,
So I have overload next semester, but it's not for FYE. So this is specific to FYE, is what you're saying?
if you want to teach FYE,
Okay,
you have to do both
okay,
levels.
okay, yeah.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, so just so you'll know, you know, make sure, you know, to keep me posted, because I don't go in here every single day and look to see what everybody's done. Okay, so just keep me posted when you have completed the expert level. The expert level is required, the master level is optional. All right, any other questions on that? The other things that you see in your notebook, let me just come around here and look at the notebook, well, I'll bring it back up. Your advising manual is, like I said, just things so you'll know that they're there. We've got our philosophy, you know, some top 10 suggestions, how to make an advising appointment. I'm just gonna kind of scroll through these and just point out a couple of things to you. You know, just for, you know, things, kind of let you know some things, you just read them. You might want to have this little thing printed out just so you'll know what you need to do to get ready for your advising appointments. And again, these are just suggestions. It's up to you, however you do it. You know, I always get my people solved up and I always get everything that I need. I review their information if I have time. If I have time. Now sometimes they'll just pop in and I don't know they're gonna come and I don't have time to do that. But so, you know, if I have time, I try to go ahead and get things that I know I might need for them. If I don't, we just we do it as we go. Always make sure that they have, you know, a place that they can sit, and my office isn't, you know, just totally a mess. That's not always, you know, always happens, but, you know, if they're new, you know, always introduce yourself, you know, talk to them, ask them what, you know, I always ask them if they have a job or family commitments that we need to work around, you know, 'cause I don't wanna just start looking at classes and then, you know, they can't, because some of them tell me, well, I don't have a vehicle, you know, past 3 o'clock, so I can't take any classes past 3 o'clock, you know, so, you know, you need to know those types of things about them. So that's just a little, you know, something there to kind of get you going. If you want to, you can print this out, if they're new to the college, you know, who you are, your email, your phone number, and then these again are just other areas of contact that they need something on campus that they might be able to utilize. Now, the rest of these things are your PeopleSoft guides. This tells you how to find your advisee list in PeopleSoft. So to retrieve your advisee list, you select main menu, then you go to KCTCS, Student Administration, Records, Advisors, Advisees. And I'm just gonna walk you through this first one, okay? In PeopleSoft. So here, we're gonna go to the main menu.
I can't, wait, yeah, where are we finding all these? Yeah,
I don't think we can see.
how do we get to just normal?
Can you get
Oh, I
to,
see.
go to
So-
PeopleSoft.
And is it,
Go to
it's not
PeopleSoft.
HR, it's Canvas,
No,
right?
it's Campus
Campus
Solutions.
Solutions.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, yeah. Go to PeopleSoft Campus Solutions. Let's go to that first. You may not have any advisees on your list yet, but I'm just gonna walk you through this because you'll start getting advisees.
That checklist that you were showing.
Mhm. That checklist, it should be in here. Yeah.
Page 8,
Yeah.
retrieve your advising list.
They may be in here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Everything should be in your manual that I'm showing you right now.
Okay, And then faculty
All right, so
center?
now, so here, let's just look at this. We're gonna go to main menu.
Wait, do we go to, is it faculty center?
I always go classic home,
Oh,
because that's what I'm used to.
oh, okay.
But you can go either way.
And then where from there?
All right, hang on.
Oh.
So let's do this. So we're at main menu. Is everybody at the main menu? All right, so when you go to main menu, you scroll down, and where it says KCTCS Student Administration. Click on that. Then you go down to Student Records. Click on that. Then you go to Advisors. And if you look at the very top of that, look at the very top of this right here, that's telling you main menu, student administration, student records, advisors, and then advisee. So it's giving you the path. Okay, so you can just follow that path. Then you click on advisees. You click on advisors, then you click on advisees.
Okay.
All right, now it's going to give you this right here. Now you're gonna, all you have to do is put in the term. So we're just gonna put in 4194. And then you're gonna put your name in. Now this is important, how you put your name in. You put your last name, comma, no spaces, and your first name. So, no spaces, where it says advisor name. So I'm gonna put in Dean, comma, no space, Lesa is my first name, okay? And then, so no spaces. If you put any spaces in there, it's not gonna come up. Then you click search. And there are a number of other ways you can get to this too. Okay, I'm just telling you the way I know it. Then it's gonna bring up all my advisees. Now I want you to notice something. You see the E's? The E's beside where it says status?
Yeah.
All right, that E means they're currently enrolled. If you have a D on there anywhere, it means that they have dropped. They were enrolled, but they dropped. Does anybody have anything yet?
Well, I put it in for 4196, right, for spring.
You haven't got any yet.
Oh, okay.
Y'all don't have any advisees yet.
No.
But that's why I'm showing you one. Now, I do want to show you one other thing that's kind of neat here. You know, these things, you know, like right here you've got E's, that means they're currently enrolled. Here's a D, they've dropped. Here's nothing. They're not currently enrolled. They didn't drop either, they just not enrolled.
Huh.
Okay. So, but you can sort this. Say, I only want to know about my currently enrolled ones, right? I don't want to have to scroll up and down this list to see how many, you know, where are the E's and where are the, all you have to do is click on status one time, re-click it, and it brings all your E's to the top.
Wow,
All your E's to the top. Yeah, okay. Now, if you want to, then you can export this to an Excel sheet by just clicking on this and say open. And it'll give you an Excel sheet that has their addresses on it, their phone numbers on it, all this information. So you can keep that handy if you need to. You know, it gives you their email addresses, tells you how many cumulative hours they have. I mean, so you get a lot of information from these advisee lists. That's really nice to know. And, you know, a lot of times when we don't have our, you know, say maybe 20 of my advisees have enrolled and some of them haven't. Well, they're gonna say, Kim, you need to start calling all your advisees and asking them why they have not enrolled for next semester. That's where you find their phone numbers. That's one place you can find their phone numbers. There's a lot of other things in there. You've got the guides for the most common things that you'll do in PeopleSoft. So if you'll look again at the manual, you look again, you've got the advisee list, how to get your advisee list, how to get to student services, and again, just main menu, campus community, student services. Go to that one, see if y'all can get in that one. You just go to your main menu, click on campus community, then click on student services. And then just put in, here, I'm just gonna give you let's put in this ID number. 00236 4001. 4001. Now pull that up and see what you find out about this this student, patient. I'm so used to calling them patients.
So, they're enrolled.
So you can go in and then you can see their schedule.
Yeah.
You can go to other academics right here, of that little drop down, and you can see advising notes, academic, click on academic requirements. This is really neat. You should just be able to click the little go button.
Oh.
Yeah. Academic requirements and the go button. It will then show you what they have not, he's satisfied his writing, scroll down.
Okay.
You know, they've satisfied what they haven't satisfied, and what courses will meet for it. So it's amazing, you know, what you can find in this advising center. Now, yeah, and you click on the little button. And you can find out, like I said, they writing, they satisfy their writing. Right, the next one, you know, they're not satisfied writing too. And then usually the classes doesn't have to do that. So this is, you know, these are good things. So again, you've got, for the most common things that you'll do in PeopleSoft, you've got the little guides in your manual here. So again, just at the top, it just tells you exactly what, just follow the little thing right there at the top. And then it shows you what the screenshots would look like and all that good stuff. You can do your schedule, you can look up your schedule in the faculty center. Like you can, or go back to, let's see here.
Main menu.
You can view your class rosters. You can, there's all kinds of things in here. You can go to, I think this is it. You can do your weekly schedule. Here it is. Well, just go to your class information. So you're gonna start at, faculty center, right, so. Right up here, go in there. We're gonna put your back, go to main menu. Main menu. Yeah, and I think this campus community. How do you get to faculty?
Is it the faculty?
Oh, self-service.
Self-service, yeah, faculty, self-service and faculty center, in my schedule. There's your schedule, there's all the classes you're teaching.
How did you get there?
Go to campus, self-service.
Oh.
Self-service and faculty center. And then you can go my schedule, you can get your class roster, you can get anything.
Oh.
See? So those are just things that will help you, you know, as you move along. And, you know, again, you're just gonna have to kind of look at these things, see what you think you're gonna use, and you've got the manuals for them right there.
So do you think our advisees will be appointed in January? Is that when?
As they come in the new ones who've gone through new student,
Right.
what they're gonna do is if they're in your area, they're gonna go ahead and start loading them into you, your advisor. So yeah, hopefully by January, you'll be seeing some advisors
Okay.
in your list. Are any questions on that? Alex, I just wanted you to see what you have there and go through and you know, see, it's pretty simple. There's just so much you can do with it. It does so much. I don't use near half of what I could do with this. I know what I need, and that's what I use, okay? As you start going through this, you'll know what you need and what you will use. Now, there's no way you can use it all.
Yeah.
There's no way. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to, Lorie Maltby. Are you learning something?
Of course.
Okay. Lorie is our transfer coordinator, for you, those of you, I think everybody knows Lorie. Yeah, just, when you have time and you're at your desk, just sit, just pull out that manual and just kind of play around and see what you can see. It's amazing.
So Kim kind of threw me a surprise, which was, hey, you're gonna talk about referrals.
Actually, you asked to talk about it.
I forgot about it.
Oh.
Yes, you asked. When you sent me that, when you sent me
Surprise.
that schedule, I was really the one that suggested
Okay,
it.
all right, I forgot about it. So,
And then forget.
I forgot about it. I'm not infallible. So what I wanted to share with you is that there are a lot of resources on campus that we are not familiar with on a regular basis. And this together very quickly, so I'm sure I know I missed some services. But I wanted to see what I could find using our website. And, there are a lot of holes, and there's some things we need to clean up based on just my brief review.
Sometimes sometimes we need to be doing that so we can see
So
where
we can
need
see
to
where
do
we
it.
have holes. So I was thinking about, as from the perspective of an advisor, what services you might refer your students to. And things that I, as an advisor, also have to talk about, look up, that kind of stuff. I think one of the best sources for the students, though, is the student handbook, which maybe behooves us to go and read it, because there's a lot of good information in the student handbook about financial aid. And there's things in there that I saw that we should clean up too, but I thought particularly the financial aid, the students are now kind of, are questioning some things. that
Especially now because of program out.
Because and I'm glad that they're asking these questions, they're coming to us, but it's a little confusing, and it's confusing for us as to, I know students have been asking me, okay, what about financial aid and transfer? It's like, yeah, I can only tell you this much because I don't understand. So just some quick things. We used to have a really big admissions department. We had like 5 people in admissions, and what do we got now, 1? So Tammie Zuber really is our admissions coordinator. She's got this title of assistant registrar, and she handles all admissions and records, and she gets all sorts of questions about that, and she has to process things. She used to have to do more paperwork before we got the online withdrawal system. And then Angie Watson is a GEM. You've heard of her, she's a GEM, our career services coordinator. She does a lot more than I've listed. She does a lot of career counseling and job search, one-on-one career advising. She organizes this health careers fair. She has this nice list of community services agencies. It's really valuable. And if you call her up and you're like, what about? She'll get on it. She'll give you a lot of good feedback. And then David back there and Angie are listed on the website as providing counseling services. And I don't know what the limitations are. Can you tell us the limitations of counseling
Well,
services?
ideally, what we do is just like one time and then referral. Although we will check in with students. They know that we're not long-time mental health resource, but I do check in with students if they're having issues, to make sure that they're doing okay. So
And you're part of the BAT team, or what's it called now?
it's now called the care team.
The care team.
I like
I
that.
prefer BAT,
I
though.
kinda like that better.
I
That
know.
team just sounds.
Well,
BAT team was the
Care sounds a
behavioral
little
assessment
more
team.
soft, but I kind of like the whole bat thing because I'm a Batman.
Yeah. So.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself because I've got to go set up for the Thanksgiving
Okay,
dinner.
that's
So.
fine.
So,
Thank you. Hey,
just to carry on, Andy Zellers, of course, our financial aid director. I don't know if he still does, but he used to conduct workshops to help students with FAFSA. He does a lot of financial aid, one-on-one advising. He's now over program applicability, the program applicability committee. He's in charge of veteran services, so you might have noticed he's collecting items for the Hanson Veterans Home. And then Whitley Laird, I don't know if this is her proper title, but this is how I think of her, as the Assistant Financial Aid Director.
she's a coordinator.
She's a coordinator.
Amy's a director.
Yes, okay, so she's the coordinator. And I thought what I'd do is after I did this, I'd redo it, fill it in properly. But one of the things that it's nice to know is that she handles all work study, federal work study students. So if you're needing work study student, just contact Whitney. And then, of course, Chad is over the Start Center, interim director of the Start Center, but he is our official registrar. And when it comes to students who are transferring in, when the students transfer in with credit from another school, then their transcript from that school must be evaluated. It is evaluated and it is put into their PeopleSoft page that you saw. And what we need to always remember when you see the courses the students are taking is to look at previous coursework. Because sometimes you may not realize, oh, they have previous coursework from another school, and that becomes part of their.
I always ask them, have you ever attended any other college? Then I know, if they say yes, then I know to look at it.
Yeah, and if they say yes, and there's no, you have to quiz them about, have you sent your transcript to ACC to be evaluated? And then you might go on base. So Chad is my number one go-to person, but I find that I'm asking Tammie as many questions as Chad, and it might be once a day if I have odd situations. Pam Buchanan is kind of fulfilling two roles. She's the disability services coordinator, and she does testing. So you may have already used Pam's services, and she does proctored tests for online tests. So that's a wonderful service, and she's done a good job. I mean, stepping up. She'll do like one-on-one appointments with the students for disability services, and if they need particular testing, she'll work with Voc Rehab. And Voc Rehab is in the AD building. I only put Donna Cruz's name. I couldn't find it on the website.
I'm not sure.
I couldn't find it on the website because I was thinking it had to be there somewhere, but
They may be separate from us.
there should be,
They
it
still
should
have an
be
office
listed
here,
because
yeah.
they have an office on our campus. But I'm gonna fill that in too because, one of
Hey,
their
Lorie.
counselors,
I updated the directory yesterday. Is she part of
Voc Rehab.
Voc Rehab? She should be on there.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I didn't look in the directory. I was looking on just, if I were a student going to their webpage, I'm not being critical.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was just letting you know that,
Yeah, because there's
yeah, it
like,
needed to be updated and I was
there's
waiting
a
on
ton
Karen.
of stuff, there's
Yeah.
a ton of information.
We had some
Sometimes
changes.
have to know where to go.
Yeah.
So, we also have this wonderful service, we had it with our college from, I don't know, it was here when I started. We're not recording it. So Amanda Denton is now the head of what we used to call Adult Basic Education, and Skills U is really a snappier name for all that service. And they do a great service for the community, bringing people in, testing their basic skills and academic skills, and
They get their
doing
GED.
just basic testing, GED, and getting prepared for their GED, and English as a second language. So it's an invaluable service to the community, not just to the college. And then transfer, I could talk to you for days about transfer. So transfer services, really, a lot of what I do is transfer advising. I've had some pretty busy days lately, and especially as the semester is toward the end, the students go, oh, I gotta graduate. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. And that's like a panic city. But I try to, start talking. I've been going to the FYE classes and telling the students, hey, when should you start thinking about transfer? Like now. So making
And
appointments.
we'll have Lorie come back and do a special PD just on transfer like we did last time.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Well, then, I'm the guy who's been scheduling, although I need lots of help to do the transfer fairs. I schedule transfer visits with the reps, and probably need more. Just can't think at the moment. It's gonna be a really busy day for me.
You got
Then
this.
tutoring.
You got this.
I know I have to go give a transfer talk to Katie Griffith's class.
That's
They're so awesome.
And then, Michael Connect, he's our Director of Library Services, he agreed to take on, tutoring services, they used to be in the Start Center. And coordinated somebody in the Start Center, but now it's, on the second floor of the library, and I think you'd have to contact the library, and.
He has a schedule that
There's
he
a schedule on
posts,
the web.
And I think if you go to the website, it's under the library page, tutoring
Right.
schedule.
And I didn't bring in our Starfish group here, just completely forgot about it, but Dr. Lavanya Lewis is our Starfish group. And then I thought it was kind of funny, the math tutor. It's best to contact each of your math instructors.
And they actually have that on the schedule.
Yeah, but
They
I
do
thought it
different
was so
places.
funny,
Yeah.
because they do it on the AS building. And then the Writing Center, of course, they've been able to somehow man this with faculty, but also students. So it's a more regular kind of center here. Anyway, just a few things to think about, a few more 100,000 things to think about.
And Lorie,
Yes.
Folk Rehab is listed on the website under the community services page, and it does have a phone number on there.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna have,
Yeah,
Dr.
community
Lewis come up
services.
for just a second, and she talked to you all about Starfish at the beginning of the semester. Well, we've done a lot since then, and so maybe she can just, give you some ideas on how you can use Starfish with your advising. I do have it pulled up if you want to, show me.
I have a question for you, Dr. Lewis. If you're not going to cover this, if you're going to cover this, you can tell me just to wait. Is there a way to just, like on here, to see the student, I've tried to just look at my students who have not registered, and I have to do it one by one. Is there a way to run a report or to show me my list of advisees? Because I know there's different criteria that you can put.
You should be able to filter.
See, I thought, but then I was trying to filter through all my advisees and not just click on one, because if I look at one, it'll tell me if they're registered for spring, but I was trying to find a way to look at them without having to click on each individual
We
student.
may have to look at that together and see, because there is a way that you can download information. I don't have a handout, so I'm sorry, I don't want to say I'm unprepared, but,
Now,
Just to kind of briefly
on
go-
schedule at the last minute. So I did actually kind of, pick on her.
just to kind of let you guys know, we are going to encourage everyone to start using Starfish, not only for what you are using it now, which is to raise awareness with the flags and the kudos, but we are going to start asking that you use it to lift advising referrals. Now, you can do this the same way, same process as when you're lifting a flag or a kudo. You can select one student at a time, you can do multiple students at once. When you go in and do that, which I don't know if Kim's gonna
I'm
come
gonna
in.
show you, if you want me to.
The reason why we're asking you to do this is first and foremost, we are going to continue that push for Starfish to really fully get integrated. So this is something I did discuss earlier in the semester. Tammie and I are actually using it more now, so we actually have had some appointments scheduled through Starfish. When we finish meeting with the student, we can go in and check if they came to our meeting or if they missed it. We have the opportunity to check that information. If they have come in, what we do is we know what we had discussed with that student, and we save that. So anytime you go to that student, you're able to pull that information up. So going over why we're asking you to do that is because it's all housed in one area. So if you guys are lifting a flag and I'm seeing that that flag hasn't been closed, well, I can go in through your advising referral and say, okay, well, they've met with their advisor, but they're still missing some assignments. So maybe when I call them, I can say, hey, I know you've had your advising appointment recently, but you're still missing some assignments in such and such class. How can we help you?
What I do is I go to the little bar, the Starfish bars up here on your, left-hand corner, click on students, then my students, so these are all my students, and I got a bunch of them. If I wanna do a referral, I just click, say, the ones I wanna do referrals for, and up here, referral, and I do an advising referral. I don't put a course or due date, and I put assigned to me, because I'm the one who's supposed to take care of it. And then I just put a little note in here, stop by my office soon, you know, before classes fill up, and just something, and then you send it.
Oh.
And that's how you do an advising referral. And then when they come in, when they actually do come in, if I go to tracking, these are the ones that here are the ones I've sent advising referrals for. Amanda Casey has not come in to see me, she's still active, but Macy King has, I resolved her. So if, let's say that Amanda comes in, I can click her and just go up here at the top and put resolve. And then it takes it off Lavonia's
Off the
radar
radar
screen.
flag
Yeah,
status.
right.
Okay.
We are asking that you close out your referrals.
So that's
What
just-
we're looking at is if
Resolve.
anything has been open past 2 weeks, I'm gonna be contacting you saying, hey, have you tried to reach out to your advisee? If not, would you like me to call and see if we can initiate them to come in? We don't wanna leave, flags, referrals, especially advising referrals, we don't wanna leave them out past a couple weeks, which Kim can tell you, I've emailed her a couple times.
Yes.
Nothing on her behalf, just sometimes those students just aren't seeing the alert, or we're just having a hard time getting them in. So we just kinda wanna give that extra nudge. I have no problem making those outbound calls, just to kinda get those students to come in. But obviously, it's hard for me to close them because A, I don't know if you've met with your student, and two, I don't know what's been discussed. So, when it comes to the advising referrals, I know it is an extra step for you guys to go in and do this, but it is really gonna help us, in the long run as far as having all information housed in one area.
Can you make more notes? Like, let's say I've called or left a voicemail or emailed a student
Yes.
and I haven't resolved it yet, I can make a note in there, so that way if you see that it's open longer than 2 weeks, but I'm documenting, you know, I've called,
You
I've
can-
emailed,
All right, let me
you
just
know.
show you what happens when you click that resolve, okay? It says the meeting took place,
Okay.
the meeting did not take place, this is how you close it out.
For as long
Or you can make a note here. I don't have no time, you know, or you can make a note there, that's one place you
Yeah,
can.
so there are several ways that you can make notes. You don't even have to put the resolve, but that is one way. So at any point, yes, you can go ahead and make a note at any point. And obviously, I and everyone else will be able to see that if anyone's going in on that student.
So be careful with that, your notes.
Yes, please.
Right.
I just wanted to show you one other thing for the new advisees. This is something that, the students come to me, my advisees come to me, and I'm gonna tell you what they tell me more times than not. I'm like, how are you doing in your classes? And I always ask my students how they're doing. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't know?
Oh.
You know, how do you not know what you're doing? Well, you know, some teachers don't tell them. They don't really know, but
Well,
if they,
I mean, their grades aren't necessarily posted in like a weekly or bi-weekly manner.
but I mean, some.
And it's up to the student to actually look at the syllabus and say, okay, we've done these assignments, these are the points they're worth. I mean, we lay it out for them.
Yeah.
But they need it laid out even easier, they need it, thrown in their face what their grades are.
Right, but one thing
And-
I had, and the students didn't know this, some of my new students didn't know this. I said, well, did you look and see what you're doing? Well, how do I find out? So you can go to Starfish, and you can click on a student. Am I doing this right? On the name. It will bring up this student, it will bring up their courses. If you wanna know what courses they're teaching, or she's taking anatomy and intro to computer, she dropped this. But notice right here in this anatomy, it tells you, you know exactly, she's not doing too hot.
Wait, so that was pulled in from Blackboard?
Yeah, so as long as instructors are
Okay.
using Blackboard
Oh, okay, yeah.
to update
You're
information, it's
Blackboard.
gonna communicate with Starfish, so then it
Good.
makes it easier
Yeah.
for us to see what's
So
going on.
they come to me and I'm like, well, you don't know what, I said, well, what grade do you have in there? Well, I'm sure I'm passing, but I'm not really sure. So I'll go in to Starfish, click on their name, click on courses. And I said, well, according to this, this is what you've got right now. Now all your work may not be in yet, so then you need to go talk to your instructor. So that's one way I can keep up with how they're doing. They honestly, they'll tell me, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm passing or not. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
For some people, the way they use Blackboard though, it's really hard to interpret the grades.
It is.
Because we've looked at some over the past few semesters and just to see how the FAME students are doing.
Yeah.
And it was probably worse to look at it than to not look at it.
Right. Well, what I'm
So-
saying is if they come to me and they tell me they don't know anything,
Mhm.
I'll start here and then I'll say, okay, wait a minute. Now, this is only part of your class. You still have a lot left. So you need to now go talk to your instructor. So I don't try to interpret. I just tell them what I see.
Even if there is an issue with that, we're, with us encouraging, hey, please lift the flags if the students have academic progress. So even if I can't see, or if it is weighted, in a weird way, as far as their course grade, then that's where that tracking item will come into play, where, okay, I can see, even though I can't technically see your grade, I see that you have a low test score, or I see you have a simulated assignment. So that's also another way that the advisor can communicate what's going on in the class itself.
Right here in this college math, you can tell they've got at least, homework or, exams in, but they probably don't have all their work in just yet, because it only goes up to October. So, there's still probably more there, but at least you know that they are at least passing, that what they do have in, they at least have an 84% on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, a way that you can see, because when I was speaking of how you're saying that it's weighted weird sometimes in Blackboard, the tracking items can be found under the tracking tab. So you can also utilize that. Obviously, the student just has a kudo, but if for whatever reason, whatever you guys are raising, this information will be housed here too. So that's something to also take a look
Oh,
at.
that's good to know, I didn't know that. Want something wrong?
What does that mean, weighted weird and Blackboard?
Well, he was saying, I don't know how it works.
Like your
in
test might be
Blackboard, so I
worth more
don't
than
know.
your assignments, you can weight your certain.
And I get that, but are you saying
Categories.
Blackboard's not calculating that
No,
correctly?
it
No, I'm
Not
not saying
that here.
that. It's just how people use Blackboard to keep their grades.
Okay.
Oh,
It may not
It is
show
far
up.
from
We can't
consistent.
tell how they're
Oh,
doing that.
okay.
But all we
Yeah.
can tell is that, we can see what we see, but it
Yeah.
may be, they may have 60%,
I-
but they may only have 50% of the work in.
I would never try to interpret what you're seeing from grades going that way.
Okay.
Never.
Some instructors
To
don't
give a
even use the
student
Blackboard
advice.
grade center.
Well, yeah.
Because
I-
truly, only their instructor can tell them what their grade is.
Okay.
So,
Like I said, I
I
don't.
wouldn't panic somebody because you might pull that up and say, oh, you're failing the class, when in reality, they're not.
Right.
That's what I
So, you
tell
have to
them.
be real careful.
Yeah.
They come in and they say, they tell me I have no idea what my grade is in this course. I said, well, let me look in Blackboard. I'm like, now you tell me, what have you got done? And, oh, well, we still have 3 exams to go. I said, well, then, now I'm gonna talk to your instructor. Okay, any questions for Alanya? Okay. All right, here's what we're gonna do now.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
For, our three new advisors.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, you can take,